Alright, so we got another review set here. Uh, I'm probably maybe like starting a new series and doing some review stuff. And potentially not just Ganon, but we're starting out with Ganon, obviously. And whenever you see a set on YouTube, I've always checked with the guy in question, whoever I'm reviewing, if it's okay whether I upload it. Otherwise, I would just if I ever review someone's set, I would just what do you say, make it unlisted and send it to the person who's playing. But hopefully this gets approved and it gets on YouTube and everyone can see it. Those who are interested. I've already seen a little bit of this, just like the first 1 minute of the game, and I haven't really seen this Ganon player before. Um, Honestly, forgot the name. I'll it'll be in the video title. But my God, this guy looks really good. So let's get into it. I turned off the sound in this video because the sound. Oh, there you see deep vein thrombo. Okay, the sound is like what do you say, desynced from the video, so it's just gonna be my voice. Okay, let's just make sure the quality is all dish. So, just a little error. This guy can move. He can move pretty well. I like the jab attempt. Usually, let's just go back real quick. This guy is really good. So, I'm not really sure if that means I'm going to be pausing more or less, but I mean, I'll try and keep it. I'll try not to pause too much, but good SDI on the drill, not perfect SDI, but decent. Now he goes for a grab after the jab, and here's my first criticism. Like usually this just does not work because I mean, yes, if he shields, it works, but it's just like good players tend to not want to shield. In this spot, they tend to. He's in center stage. If it's different, like maybe if he's in the corner or something, I don't know. But like here in center stage, like why would he shield? He's got because at the very least he can move backwards and sacrifice a little bit of space, and he'll be safe from everything. I would suggest going for something a bit more chip damagey early on. Either like read a jump with up air, read a spot dodge with fair or stomp, or delayed grab, or like dash attack to catch him running away, or just take space if he really runs away far right. Grab just I don't know, man. If he's in the chain grab range, maybe. Nice bait, nice Lord Stomp, really nice. Messed up there. Okay, here's a little bit of an issue. Right there, you had a down tilt set up. You see here, you're going down. You see this? I mean, it looks like you're looking for it. You just don't take it for some reason. Would have been a really good setup. Pretty sure it could have knocked down at that point. A little bit of space. That fair is a little bit risky. I mean, everything's risky, but what I'm trying to say is it was a little bit telegraphed, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah? You get down from weak hits. Yeah, good DI here. But then you shield. Wasted opportunity for another down tilt or a dash attack. Or even a jab. What are you going to do from shield? You could have just grabbed straight up without shielding if that's what you really wanted. So especially here in early percent versus Fox, like try not to shield almost ever, man. Just like take the weak hits, get get hit by the shine in the air, so you get the no hit stun shine. SDI drills, even SDI and CC on nairs, gonna make it really hard for him to follow up, and it's gonna give you a chance to maybe find a counter attack. Nice escape to the platform. Looks like you messed up something. What we were trying to do. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot you can really do from that spot. You could have tried to waveland down to him, but I mean, he can contest that pretty well. This is usually a spot where what I would just do is just go straight down. Just go straight down as soon as possible from here and kind of play it from here. Look for the next thing. Looks like that's what you're trying to do, but you should have done it sooner. No need to turn around. I mean, maybe if you want to back air him, but If back airing is what you would want to do, I don't even know if you should have done the little dash forward first. I mean, it's nitpicky, I know, but I think getting down sooner is the play. And here I feel like you're kind of just like not taking free food. You get down. By the time you do this jump back, which is a great spacing to do the jump back in, because you're doing the jump preemptively. A great place to jump. You get lots of mix-ups from here. You can waveland forward. You can waveland to ledge. You can, empty land. You can go to the platform. All kinds of things you can do. But the moment you see him jump towards you like this, you should have time to react. Ideally, fair. Or even if you really have the drift and the spacing down, maybe you could have made him jump into a stomp even without the Lord Stomp backwards spacing. But at the very least, up air him on the way down. I mean, that's free. Free damage, free, you know, at the very least. You try to jab, doesn't come out. You kind of have to respect him there, but you get a nice turnaround jab, turnaround up smash. Could have killed him, you know. I think jabbing is something I used to do that a lot. I rarely do it nowadays because if they are ever in this spot where they're clearly not respecting Ganon's ledge options, or he's specifically looking for the no impact land stuff. I mean, even that's kind of stupid, honestly. Um, you know, doing either a forward tilt. I mean, obviously, the thing about the jab is the jab can be invincible, right? Which you can't get with any other move from a ledge dash. But up smash can kill him with the cock blast hitbox. Down smash can lead to a good combo. Even forward tilt's going to give a little bit more. I'm not saying this is wrong. I'm just throwing suggestions out there, you know, because this is at least this can be invincible, which is something. And here I'm gonna talk a lot about edge guarding. I love. I've developed a lot when it comes to edge guarding spaces, and I'm gonna share some ideas. So this spacing, honestly, this is one of those cases where you can either choose to risk it all and follow him down with like a fair drop up air, either facing out or facing the other way with like a wave dash. But I mean, it's either that or he's gonna jump high, which is kind of what he does. And so the safe thing to do in pretty much any matchup when it comes to edge guarding is at the very least start out by covering the easy stuff. Start out by covering the quote unquote lazy recovery options from him. This is a very lazy double jump from him. Anything you do here would kill him. Just doing a fair out, a back air. I mean, I don't have to tell you, right? So you can get super creative with it. You don't have to make it super basic. I mean, if you want to try and cover multiple things, even though I don't really think you have to, but if you want to try to cover multiple things like turnaround, backwards jump, edge cancel, Tipman, boom. And let's say that he did not go do this, then maybe you can still do something after. You can get down to ledge if he's delaying his recovery or something. So like multi-option coverage is like edge cancel, Tipman doesn't cover everything, but it covers a lot. But at the very least, doing something that covers this lazy double jump area, right? Like they'll do this for two reasons. Either because it's either like laziness that they just go high. It can also be like missing the sweet spot on the ledge, so lack of execution, or it's a mix-up if you have like repeatedly actually chased them down and read the fact that they're doing the delayed sweet spot recovery. I'm talking about double jump recoveries here. Then it becomes a mix-up. So something to consider. But one thing though, when it comes to edge guarding Fox specifically, like, or maybe not specifically, but especially, is the fact that whenever you do go for the what I'm calling safe, like doing like a forward tilt here, a little or an aerial, covering like bad sweet spots, typically what happens is if he gets ledge right after you do the thing to cover whatever you like the lazy option, typically then you're kind of in a shady spot because now he can ledge dash, he can up tilt, turn around up smash. And so it becomes one of those situations where you're kind of forced to shield immediately afterwards. That's why I suggest the edge cancel setup because at least like let's say you do go for like a ledge cancel back air or tipman, right? Facing inward, sorry, like right, so with your back out. Well, if you do go for that and it doesn't hit and he gets to ledge, at the very least, then you can, man, I don't even know, man, potentially double jump and do something. Against Fox, maybe not, man, honestly. It's a bit hard to say. It's so, again, I'm just throwing suggestions out there because what you do is also like, okay, kind of giving it up. Maybe you could have seen this, reacted, down tilted, maybe. But I mean, honestly, probably not. That's a great attempt. If we're being optimal here, by the way, obviously Grab is the right choice because he's a chain grab percent. Well, I don't know how much you either can or want to chain grab, so nice looking for down tilts. A great place, man, because it's hard to go in on Ganon like right here because he has to constantly think about the potential down B, right? You're not doing it. Nice try. See that one I kind of don't like. Okay, so generally for edge guarding, this is how I do it. Almost always do it with your back out. Okay, facing center stage. If that makes sense. Basically, you want to like backwards. You want to backflip, right? Backflip in some shape or form, either full hop, short hop, because this is a situation where you still have so many choices available to you. You can grab ledge. You can edge cancel with an aerial and grab ledge, or do something else. You can do a back air drifting a bit further out, an up air drifting a bit further, double jump, do a you have so many choices from that backflip, and depending on how you time it, it's gonna make it more ambiguous, less hard for him to see what kind of edge guarding you're going for. The thing about edge guarding and recovering in melee, and I guess like melee in general, like neutral game and all that, is ambiguity. Trying to be, you know, trying to have as little telegraphed as possible, make it as hard as possible for your opponent to read you. And by doing things that can lead to like many different crossroads, many different like you do the backflip, and from there like you have decision trees going in so many different directions. That's going to make it harder for him to to make a choice, or rather make the right choice. And at the same time, like you're doing something that may look like something. It might look like you're trying to grab ledge, but you can still do a little double jump up there or something that you can kind of try and influence how he's going to recover based on how you're. This is how Ice described it to me. He described it as a game of chicken, and I really like that analogy. Like like for both of you, you're kind of both like goading each other into choosing different options. And for instance, doing that kind of up air, if you would have done that facing out, at the very least, like you can grab ledge after that, just falling down. No need to double jump. And honestly, it might even have worked here if you would have done a like, let's say, maybe I'm not gonna go through the whole set by the way, because I do pause a lot. So we'll just maybe do the first game. Let's say you're turning around here, or let's say you've already been turned around and you're doing the up air. If you would have short hopped and done that up air, because he does a shorten, which delays his side B, it might have actually been able to hit him. The tipman might have actually been able to hit him. Okay. In general, those shortens are hard to deal with. Although doing those kinds of instant tipman to then grab ledge after, or edge cancel tip into grab ledge is one of the ways you can deal with shortens outside of like hard reading it. Nice up there, bro. And here, okay, we got another edge guard. Nice up there. If you want to get a little freaky here, a potential thing. I'm not saying it's necessary, but it's cool. Like let's say you get this up air. Let's say instead of landing, you then double jump, wave land, and either moonwalk or moon drop off, so that you wave land with a moonwalk or a moon drop, so that you can turn around and then slide off again with your back facing out to potentially doing another up air if there's enough hit stun for it, or reading it, or going down to ledge. I'm not saying it's the right choice, because honestly, the basic way, what I would do is I would already be turned around, and generally speaking, I try to time my jump, my backflip, to about the time he's out of hit stun, about the time he's able to act. You have to do with Fox. You have to kind of jump a little bit before he has to act, because let's say you would have jumped at this point, right? And you're already floating here with your back facing out. In some cases, especially when it's this close, you can almost just react and like double jump and back air him, up air him, right? Or you could have even like committed. You could have jumped early, committed to the double jump, and then see he's going for this and going out and hitting him for free. And at the same time, in that position, if you would have done a non sweet spot side B, or a sweet spot that goes on stage, you can also come down with like at the very least a fair up air, right? And then it's a mix up between, because obviously that would lose, or he would get back if you just did a side B to ledge, right? But then from that backflip, again, this is the ambiguity that I talked about, where you could also go to ledge, right? And that will cover side B, it will cover shorten. So it's almost a 50-50, Because, as soon as you're here, I see a lot of Ganon struggling with this recovery. Like, as soon as you're here, man, there's just there's just a lot less things he has to worry about, right? There are certain positions that are almost free for him to get. If we go back to his height, this looks like a notch angle could sweet spot. Maybe a little bit higher for him, right? Maybe he should have gone a little higher. I'm not a Fox expert, but even then, like, what do you cover? Yeah, but again, like he has to like this is like what most Ganons try to cover. Like they only cover like this, and like I said before, this is the easy thing to cover. And in certain spots, when we're talking about double jumps, it's a good way to have a chance of killing them without putting yourself at great risk. And I guess you could say the same here, but if you've already been out there, okay, what I'm trying to say, short version is, generally speaking, when it comes to edge guarding spaces, try to make it a 50-50 between hitting him before his up B activates, so in his up B startup, or covering side B. Okay, make it a 50. Okay, make it like a 33, etc. Like 1 out of 3, either hitting the up B straight in the animation, in the startup animation, or covering ledge by grabbing ledge, or doing like a back air right here, or a forward tilt or something to cover side B, right? And grabbing ledge is also against short, right? You can make it a basic like 1 out of 3 for that. And with the backflip, sometimes you can have a hard cover on one thing, where it's like you can hard cover the startup of the up B, but you can still soft cover his, if he does a side B on stage. Sometimes you have time to go down and fair him. You might even sometimes have time to grab him, which then would be considered a hard cover because the chain grip is guaranteed, right? So something to think about. And again, that one I kind of like, that edge guard. But I would like to see more jumping backwards with it, like be a little bit more intimidating with it, to sort of make him more impulsive. That's like a general thing in melee when we're talking about going for reads or how should I say, like conditioning or trying to make people act. You want to make people impulsive. You want to induce panic in people so that their reptile brain takes over and they make dumb decisions, right? But I kind of like this. I like this because you're baiting and you're actually doing the things that I talked about before. You're covering like 1 out of 3, basically. I like it, but I don't like the way you're covering it, right? Because almost anything else would have been better. Even forward tilt would have been better. Dash attack potentially better, right? But obviously, if you're a sweaty chain grabber, you grab him and you chain grab him to death. Which on this stage, by the way, the platform cannot save him. It's 100% guaranteed. The platform can't save him. You can get him to 140, and at 140, down throw bear or fair will kill, regardless of DI. No platform. But if you either don't want to because you have honor, or you are too lazy to practice chain grab, fine. Then back air. Obviously back air. Or maybe nair and hope he DIs in and then you can back air him, right? Stomp is, I'm sorry to say, a very bad choice. Let's look at it again though. Could you have? Could you? I don't know, maybe. Then I'd have to swallow my words. Like, let's see, we're already up there. Maybe. Maybe. But even then, I still think back air would have been better. Nice, yeah. Oh, back air, bro. Sorry. Sorry. But, right? Back air him. Back air him, brother. Why? Even if you hit his shield with a back air, it's your best frame advantage aerial. It's +1 on shield. Okay, same as Falcon's knee. That's like good, good. A little bit too slow. Again, the edge guarding is you're a little bit too passive. Be more, like I say, ambiguous. That's nice. That's nice. So everything on the stage is good. It's like textbook. Great down smash attempt. Just gotta figure out the timing for the invincibility. Nice, nice. I like it. I like it. Let's talk about it. Obviously, I'm a fan of down smash, right? He's in perfect DI for down smash. Although there is always an argument against down smash because if they understand how to DI against down smash, it can be the damage can be mitigated completely. So this is not bad. That's not bad either. Unfortunately, it's not a knockdown yet. So we have to go for another read. And this is a great attempt. He could have spot dodged, and that would have been a stomp. And this is a great percentage to stomp at. So you're making these scrappy decisions. You missed the L cancel though, although that doesn't matter honestly, because he could still although hitting it would have made it harder for him to whiff punish. But let's just, I mean, I'm sure you can figure out what you should have done instead. But just for like people watching, right? If they're curious about different ideas, you're going for like a high value thing, which obviously has high risk to it because your kill percent. This is great. One thing to note though, in this spot, missing text is very common. So this is another spot where you could try to pivot down smash. It might be a little bit too. I think you have time to like dash here, pivot, cover these options with down smash. Otherwise, side B is, it's a 2 out of 3 cover that will get you killed if you miss because he can just up smash you if you miss, right? But it's something to think about. Down tilt here, maybe. Or, I don't know, man. I mean, right here, he could just up smash you straight up. So, there's not a lot of like wrong and right answers, but there's ways to like make it, or maybe you need to be more jumpy and floaty and baity and wavelandy, like back off a little bit and then go back in, maybe something like that. It's hard to say. I think up air, man. Up air. Take the big move. He's not gonna die from a back air. He's not gonna die from an up air. You might as well take the thing that covers the most space. Oh, dash attack attempt. That should have worked, man. Dash attack. Maybe it didn't come. Again, that's the shield that we talked about before. I think here you should, especially while you're invincible. The thing about this up air is it's it's kind of like the same as a falcon jumping all the way across the stage and landing behind his opponent in the corners. Like you corner yourself if he does this. Of course, dash attack is a pretty decent counter or like solution to that. So I'm not gonna say, you know, that it's wrong or anything. It's just maybe you should consider, like at this point, maybe you should consider just staying around this part of the stage, right? Because here you have, full hop mix-ups, you have short hop mix-ups, short hop drift towards him, wave landing. I mean, you know all the tricks, right? But you know, prioritize the position because this is the prime spot for Ganon, right? When you're floating around here with all your waveland mix-ups and your aerial mix-ups, drifts, timing mix-ups, it's very scary to be Fox because getting hit once with bad DI here can kill him. With good DI, it's gonna take a few hits, right? But so I think trying to milk that a bit more before you start committing to this kind of stuff, and jumping, I think, especially when you're at low percent, foxes tend to not want to jump at you too much. He's so this up air is obviously a jump read. I know it can hit him standing on the ground too, obviously, but most people would consider this a jump read, right? I'm showing that's why you do it, and also because it's big value. It's good value if he jumps and gets hit by the up air here. But most foxes, like the openers they want at you at low percent are gonna be shine, grab, and either up smash or up tilt, right? Because up tilt and probably ideally up tilt because it's the highest value. Although the thing about up tilt is you can CC it right at this low percent. It's hard to do, and a lot of people still get caught by up tilts at CCable and ASDI downable percents. But again, because so many people get hit by it, foxes are conditioned to go for it because it's big value. This is like his version of Peach down smash. He should have kept doing it, honestly. Very stupid shine by him. Because let's look at the shine again. You could grab him right here, right? You could have grabbed him because you get no stun from the thing, or at the very least jab. But so you can't CC because you are moving, but you can ASDI down. And in general, in this game, I mean, you kind of pretty much want to ASDI down all the time, except in certain situations where certain other DI is better, right? But anything else, like unless there's a better DI, like survival DI, pretty much we're talking survival DI. It's almost always the case that you want to ASDI down, especially when you're on the ground, right? And especially against weak to medium hits that don't obviously you don't want to ASDI down against like a Falcon knee at certain percent stuff like that, right? But so something to consider. Also, especially when you're doing any move, like when you're doing a forward tilt or you're doing a dash attack or forward smash side B, down B, hold down while you're doing them because if you trade and he's in the air or he's at high percent, he's not able to ASDI down, but you can still ASDI down while you're on the ground. So you can get trades while you're doing these grounded moves. With ASDI down, it it cancels all of your lag because you trade, so you get hit, but you ASDI down, so you can act immediately. So it makes for better combo follow-ups or combo launchers than the moves would have done by themselves most of the time, right? Nice top platform. No, nice, 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 nice. I like it. I like it. You're not being too impulsive here. You're not just going for the down B. You're being a little bit patient. This one is always a bit risky though, because it's quite easy to cover this spot for foxes. So typically, what I do, I rarely go for the whole thing, if that makes sense. Like you're going for the whole thing. When I do it, I do just that thing, and then I kind of go down again. Or I might do it the waveland faster. Doing the waveland faster. Oh shit! If you're doing the waveland faster with a good fast fall, so boom, and you're already down, and then maybe waveland that way. Maybe I mean look, I mean that wouldn't work right here, obviously. Something you could have done that's close to what you already did. Like let's say instead of wave landing, or you can wave land. Although what I would do, backflip, full hop nil. So you full hop backflip, instantly warp to the platform, and then jump again. Get up here. Ganon is kind of scary. Both Ganon and Falcon, they're kind of scarier when they're in these spots, right? Because they have access to jumping. They have access to stomping on the top platform, stomping on the side platform, stomping with edge cancels, and other like waveland mix-ups. So if he would have chased you right here, and now you're jumping up, if you would have done the stomp in a proactive way, maybe you could have hit him right here. Or at the very least, I mean, here as well. And Mike, if he shields a stomp, you coming down now with a stomp. If you, I mean, maybe the spacing isn't perfectly correct here, but this is a trick that I have still yet to implement. That I really want to actually start implementing is edge cancel stomp versus shields, right? Shields on platform, edge cancel stomp, and then grab. Because stun has so much shield stun, and you get no lag from the edge cancel, you can do stuff like stomp into shield on, oh sorry, stomp into grab shield, or stomp, shield stab stomp, or just like let's say he, just like stomping, edge canceling, drifting off. This is a bit easier, not quite as good, but easier. Stomping, edge canceling, fast falling a bit, double jumping with a nair, double jumping with an up air, or like a waveland tomahawk grab, tomahawk into read their out of shield movement with like a down tilt or a forward tilt jab or something like that, or just edge cancel, get down, and now he's up here, and you flip the positions, right? Things like that. Nice up air, nice grab. Okay, so okay, you're not a chain grabber, that's fine. If you're not a chain grabber, I will still down throw here. I will still down throw. I would down throw. Like my thing is like right now I'm not a chain grabber. I've done it so much I'm tired of it, and I kind of want to mess around with other ways to kill spacies. So what I do, especially this percent versus Fox particular, I do a lot of down throw side B, man. I do a lot of down throw side B, and yeah, I risk getting hit. I'm One thing Gosu told me once, with Falcon, it's possible to side B against the tech options, covering 3 out of 4 options without getting punished. I'm assuming that's when you time it so perfectly that even if he starts running at you and tries to shine you as soon as possible, you have time to shield. I don't know if this works. I haven't really tested it enough. And maybe you can only do it to cover certain options. Maybe I don't know. Either way, when there's a when the tech roll is cut off anyway, there's no way around it. He will hit you if you don't. But down throw side B. More advanced options would be like down throw down tilts. Down throw down smash is still decent. Or just down throw into straight up a read, jumping and then reacting midair to some tech options while being able to sort of react to tech in place or mistake with, at the very least, pressure of presence, if that makes sense. Up throw is kind of bad here, man, because even if you would have done immediate up air, I don't think you can hit him. Right? And if it takes in place, you can't follow up, so Another thing you could consider is forward throw. Although I'm about the spacing before, I'm not really sure if that's good. Again, you haven't done that mix up at all. The one I just talked about. So this is fine. This is totally fine. But that needs to be mixed up with what I discussed before. Going up and then going further up. Adding that to the repertoire as well. And when he's all the way out there, edge guarding. Edge guarding, it's still backflip, backflip, full hop backflip, get out there. I mean, honestly, look at Mech. He was a great edge guarder, and he taught me a few tricks. And again, it's kind of the same where you kind of want to go up there and threaten him, and get into that position where you get to that spot that is like a crossroads to different decision trees, if that makes sense. You should have already been out there. You should have already been like around here in your backflip, because that's where you can then double jump, and that's where you can prediction confirm the up B startup. Boom, boom, and you're backflipping, full hopping, so you're already out here, man. And this is what you hope for when you do it, right? You hope for that, and then you say, hell yeah, double jump back air or double jump up air. And the alternative would be trick him. You're doing that because you think that he thinks you're looking for this. So you're doing the same backflip. Like let's say you do this the first time. All right, and this is a good player. Let's say this is a really good player. You've done this the first time. The next time you're in this exact same situation, you do the same full hop backflip thing, but you know that he knows, etc. Blah blah blah. So you fast fall down, grab ledge, right? Because he's gonna like fast fall down and side B or something. And the thing about side B, or sorry, grabbing ledge against side B, is yes, it's a hard counter to grabbing ledge with side B, right? Grabbing ledge like that is a hard counter to side B to ledge, but it's also a hard counter to side B on stage because you have time to ledge dash and grab and chain grab to death. Now I know, and if you don't chain grab, it's a soft counter. That's fine. You don't have to chain grab. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Options. But I like the way you move right here. But again, the edge guarding, you need to implement the setup that I'm suggesting. And I think from this spot, see, I don't think you should. I was thinking maybe you should do up air from ledge, but with this timing, the way you grab ledge, it wouldn't work because you need to be invincible while you do it. I think you should do more empty land. It would have worked right there. Empty land. You're doing backer. It looks like you're trying to fast fall too soon. That's why you mess up. The backer doesn't come out. At this spot, grab would have been great. Obviously, again, guaranteed chain grab, but even forward throw is great. Like, this is the thing with forward throw. Like, you do the forward throw and you do the backflip thing that I mentioned, and you have a chance to kill him, right? You do the forward throw, and you just have to make one correct guess from there, which we can almost boil down to three things, or sometimes only two things, basically, and you get a kill. Whereas, like, you've been hitting him over and over again, but until he's off stage, he's not in a spot to be killed. But this is how you kill spacies, either with chain grabs or getting them off stage into a gamble for kill. Ideally, without putting your stock on the line. Although sometimes maybe you should, or like definitely should. Especially when you're underneath to make a comeback. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't mind the stomp. Stomp is great. Should have done a bit sooner. You should have done it a bit sooner so you can act sooner in case you don't hit. Because doing the stomp and then switching to pure defense is just a wasted opportunity because you should be able to go for a hard read, boom, and then still go for something else. Like maybe you full hop stomp here, Like you're going for pure. This is how it works. Okay, when you cover a tech option, hard read, never switch to pure defense after. You don't want to do that. You want to be in a spot where you can go for the hard read, and you go for sort of counter attacky defense immediately after, if that makes sense. So an example would be, super basic thing would be jab to cover him going in. Jab is kind of shit, but it's in that vein of thought where you're trying to do like a counter attack to what they do after you miss the read. Jabbing is one thing. Full hop stomping is another thing. Like trying to predict that he's gonna chase you. Even dash attacking. Uh, Forward tilt, up smash sometimes, side B, uh, down smash. I mean, it depends on spacing and percent and all that. But if here's the thing, man. If you're gonna go for stomp and your plan, if it doesn't hit, is to do this, then you might as well just what am I saying? Down shit. Side B, right? If you side B, you're covering 3 out of 4 options, right? With a move that's almost as good as stomp, not quite, but almost as good as stomp, and he gets a hit on you for free if it doesn't work, unless that thing I talked about before with Ghost actually works, that you can shield in the worst case. But at the very least, you're covering more things, right? That's something to think about. Or down smash. This totally works, even at low percent. Boom. You see this DI? Dash, dash, pivot, down smash. Right? Boom. Honestly, you could dash either way at this percent and cover all options. I'm pretty sure. Okay? I'm pretty sure. Still though, that's nice. Okay, this is gonna make your life a lot easier. Always, although unless you're trying to go for like when you've seen none, the way he combo spaces or like pseudo combo spaces with down throw jab, uh, then there's a value into doing the throws fast and, yeah, inducing mental stack, if you will, like doing many things quickly to your opponent to sort of get them to crack and be impulsive and go for things that you can call out easily. But I wouldn't recommend that for you, okay? I don't recommend that for myself either. I recommend down throw, sorry, grab and always pummel at least once. Always pummel, hold C stick down while you pummel so that the down throw is buffered after the pummel. And that, in case you don't know, that means that the pummel is guaranteed. Even at 0%, you're guaranteed with one grab, you're guaranteed one pummel into a guaranteed down throw. It only works with down throw, this buffer method, but basically you should almost always do that unless you're specifically looking for the quickness for whatever reason you want him to make it harder to DI properly or tech properly. Fine, there's some value to that, but most of the time, especially to minimize the risk of this happening, because this is just such a fucking terrible thing, and at this point you really can't afford that, right? You just cannot. So, but C stick, buffer down throw, buffer down throw with C stick. Sorry, okay. I like that. I always like me a down smash, bro. Yeah, that's a pretty good recovery. Or sorry, but the thing about this though, and maybe it seems like I'm being nitpicky, but I really want to stress some of these things. The thing about this, let me just look at that again. Let me see the boom. After this fair, you have to be frame perfect task speed level Ganon, and you need to start moving. Because if you're just here, as soon as you're here and he's here, he has a guaranteed recovery. He has a guaranteed either sweet spot or short, right? And he tried to shorten. He does the wrong shorten, so you get him, right? But he has a guaranteed shorten or sweet spot to ledge, right? This is what Ganon really struggles with when it comes to edge guarding spaces. Is he struggles getting there in time to set himself up to do things like what I mentioned with the backflip. So that's something to work on. And obviously, sometimes you just can't get there in time. That's fine. Something to think about. And look, here's the thing: you're fast, bro. So great, yeah. You're fast. So I don't like that though. I don't like that. You want big things. You want big things. Boom. Fair him on the way down. Fair him on the way down, or use the fact that there's an implied potential fair here to strike fear into his heart and go for something big. But don't go for jab, bro. Like jabbing is fun. I love jab, but at this percent, it does nothing. If his defense is on point, he'll take that jab and still hit you. You know, don't dash attack into the corner either. Again, that's also one of those things. He'll just take if he just ASDS down, which he does, but then he shields because he gets scared. Right? Common thing. Great up air. Great choice, man. So fairing into the corner like that is like Ganon's most common overshoot. It's a very straightforward overshoot. It's a very effective overshoot when it hits, but it's also quite a telegraphed overshoot. I find that it works a lot against people who try to outspace it. So some Marths and Foxes, they will try to dash around the fair and with punish the lag. But the thing about them doing that is that that is a mix-up. They are reading a certain drift and timing, and they will lose if you delay or even not if you delay your fastball, you don't fastball at all, so that you drift longer before the fair. But what it never works against this overshoot fair is people who trust their ability and have the ability to shield it on reaction, which I mean, honestly, I shouldn't say have the ability because everyone has the ability to shield Ganon's fair on reaction if they simply trust themselves to do it. And so you have to decide, you have to learn, especially versus Fox. You have to figure out very quickly in this matchup whether or not you can get away with that or not. And if you cannot get away with fairing like this, then you're just never going to be able to do it. And what you do instead is you do a fake fair, you do a tomahawk, right? But you don't do a tomahawk grab because this is also one of those things that it'll work on a lot of people, or I should say this, it works on most people a lot of the time. There are some people that it never works on because they are quick enough to see the tomahawk coming. Not only do they obviously, I mean, everyone understands like the mix up, right? The value of the grab, the threat of the aerial, why the tomahawk works, blah blah blah. But very good players simply don't let that happen to them. And so tomahawk, you should still do it. And when I say tomahawk, I'm not saying land and grab. I'm saying land without doing anything, or at the very least jump without doing the fair, and then make a decision from there. So you consider, you're doing the overshoot, you're doing the jump. It's barely a decision. The jump, it's just at that point you're kind of just following the dance, if you will, because like you're supposed to do. This is how. If you think it's gonna go over here, yes, then you do the jump. You do the jump forward, but you don't commit to the aerial. You guys, you're moving over here. You get a better position, and then you play from there. So you could do the jump. Then maybe you could do a waveland back down tilt. Maybe you land in front of a shield, but because he's a good player, he knows he needs to move right away, otherwise he's getting grabbed. Maybe you forward tilt him as soon as he drops the shield. Maybe you forward tilt him. Maybe you up air after the tomahawk. Okay, so I'm saying you should do more quote unquote advanced tomahawk mix-ups and less straight. Like I've gotten a lot of help from Ice, and one of the things he criticized me a lot was that I was trying to take shortcuts. Like this fair is a shortcut. You're trying to take the short path to victory, which is understandable, right? But against good players, and I'm not saying this guy is a good player. I'm not saying he's a bad player either. But I'm saying if this is fucking, Cody or whoever, and obviously that's what your goal is, right? Whether you want to admit it or not, I assume your goal is to become like Giga League Master, right? So if you want to beat some of the very very best Fox players, this is something that I'm not saying you should never do it, but I'm saying that it's just suggestions, right? So implementing advanced tomahawks in being and like forcing yourself to do it. Obviously this is tournament, so you're trying to win, but like say you're playing on ranked or you're playing friendlies or even playing ranked, force yourself to do the hard thing. And the hard thing in this spot is adding extra steps as if he was a player that demanded that you do, right? If that makes any sense. And the extra steps would be, again, some kind of tomahawk, wave land back, uh, jumping in, double jumping up here, wave landing back, wave landing up the top platform down, extending extending the dance, the ritual, if you whatever you want to call it, right? So sorry for going on such a tangent. Nice. Bad DI from him and he dies. Great. Down back down B. Okay, never mind. Let's just look at this one more time. Boom. And again, like this is your issue in these spots. You need to move quick. Because again, he can side B, and even if you down tilt or F tilt, down angle 4 tilt, if he spaces his side B correctly, it'll come through, right? So you need to act a bit sooner out of this. And I don't think, I mean, grabbing ledge as you see this is actually fine. As soon as he starts moving, that's when you do the up air from ledge, not this one. Not the get up. You want to do the up air from ledge. And by the way, if you're a fucking cracked psychopath, you would do up air from ledge, and then you would edge cancel that up air, and you would double jump up and fucking up air him here. Okay? In training mode, I've gotten up airs like that like 3 times in all my life, right? I've tried. I really want to be able to do it, but I can't, right? But at least up air from ledge, then you can jump and hit him again. Something to consider. And this kind of works too. Here, down B. The thing about the normal get up is he can go through the normal get up, right? And you might not be able to grab him in time. He could get through and potentially shine you before you can act right. So up air from ledge is great. Ganon's up air from ledge is amazing at covering up B ankles. Here you're doing the backflip. Here you're doing the backflip, and I like this. Boom. And right here, after you get this trade, fast fall a bit, double jump, fucking down B him, bam, and trade again. This is not just because it's the last tug. You can do this even if he has 2 stocks and it's your last tug, right? If you're down here and you time your down B properly, it will trade with his up B, and you'll get back up and he'll die, right? I know this is tournament, and who the fuck in their right mind does that, right? Maybe maybe you will at some point, right? That's what I hope. Like, let's see, how long have I been going for already, man? I think that's enough, man. I think I'm not gonna be able to do the other games. It's too long. So I hope you know, my rambling wasn't too unbearable. I hope maybe you got some ideas. Obviously, dude, you're really good. It looks really nice. What can I say? Hope to see more of it. So good luck, man.